1 year after release, Stalker 2 is finally becoming the game that fans hoped for. Patch 1.7 pushed the experience forward in a big way. A-Life is much closer to the living, breathing system it was meant to be. Performance has improved across the board, and we've received a steady flow of features all year long. A lot of fans are actually really happy at the state Stalker 2 is in right now. And as of editing this video, Steam reviews are sitting at mostly positive, so the game has came a very long way. But the best part is, there's still more to come. In 2026 is shaping up to be a huge year for Stalker 2. Before we talk about what's next, it's important that we look back at where we came from. When Stalker 2 was released, after 15 years of anticipation, there was already signs that it might be rough. Multiple delays, the challenge of switching to and developing in Unreal Engine 5 for the very first time, and not to mention their country getting invaded, which majorly disrupted their development. And many, including myself, blame the partnership with Microsoft and Xbox for pushing for a non-finished release. But regardless of the cause, the game still did launch in a rough state. At release, performance was shaky to say the least. A-Life was not functioning properly, more so simulating A-Life by spawning enemies all around you, most commonly directly behind you, which took you completely out of the experience. Cutscenes felt like they were hanging on by a thread, seemingly almost breaking the game between transitions. And bugs constantly broke immersion, something a Stalker game absolutely relies on. But instead of going silent, GSC hit the ground running. Patch after patch, they began shaping the game into what it should have been. Now a year later, A-Life, while still not perfect yet, actually roams, loots, fights for territory, and so much more, even outside of Skiff's proximity. Optimization has improved massively. We've got night vision, new weapons, UI reworks, the mutant hunting side story with Gunta, a PS5 release, along with the more stable 60 FPS on all consoles, and almost every promise in the 2025 roadmap. Only a few major features remain, and those, along with so much more, are what we can expect to land in 2026. First, I want to talk about what's already confirmed by GSC to be coming to Stalker 2, and then I want to get into some more leaks, speculation, and pure copium on what I hope is coming to Stalker 2. The most recent confirmed information we've heard about content coming to Stalker 2 was a few low-key interviews done by WCCFTECH and FRVR, which was conducted with Zakar and Levgin from GSC during their celebration of 1 year of Stalker 2, as well as the launch of the PS5 port. And they actually got them to talk about some juicy ass information on what's to come for next year in Stalker 2. And speaking of the PS5 port, this video is actually all shot on base PS5. I also made a PS5 port review on the channel, and I'll also have that posted at the end of the video, as well as in the description if you're interested. Moving back to the interviews, in the WCCFTECH interview, Zakar was asked what kind of performance improvements we might expect from the Unreal Engine 5 upgrade from UE 5.1 to UE 5.5.4, and his response was clear. Switching to a new version of Unreal Engine 5 is a very big task. We cannot guarantee exact timing. It should bring a significant boost to optimization overall. The interviewer then asked, what about the new missions listed on the roadmap? Zakar replied, the update is quite close, so the answer might end up being a spoiler. This suggests more missions are coming very soon, even beyond the mutant hunting storyline with Gunta that was added in patch 1.6. And that lines up with the roadmap's wording of new missions from old and new friends. He was also asked about DLC plans for 2026, which Zakar simply replied, yes. Short, cryptic, but still a confirmation. Finally, the interviewer asked about the previously announced multiplayer mode. Zakar then replied, I have no updates on multiplayer right now. At this point, I think that multiplayer is probably canceled, and honestly, it seems that most players don't seem to mind. We're here for the immersive single-player experience. Now let's go over the 3 articles that FRVR has posted to their website as well. And I'm just going to go over some quotes and information that I think are important. Zakar spoke about the direction of the story DLC, saying, our players love a well thought out world, good stories, expanding and deepening the plot. And the main goal is a quality add-on. More iconic gameplay moments, more story, more characters, and explaining old and new mysteries of the Stalker world. When asked if Skiff was returning as a protagonist of the DLCs, Zakar said, "We're proud of how Skiff turned out, but you'll just have to wait a little bit longer for those details." He ended this interview hyping up players, saying, "The first DLC will have a solid, lasting appeal and a really gripping story that'll definitely thrill fans." In FRVR's second article, Levgin explained why the Unreal Engine upgrade is taking so long. "Our engine is very heavily modified. We wrote a lot of custom systems ourselves, and now we have to move all of it onto the newer version, and it's a big job." He also added, "Players will really feel a difference once the full upgrade is ready. They could theoretically update the game forever, but this isn't a live service game, and I'm sure they're going to make another Stalker game. But I would guess that the time that the second DLC comes out, they're going to start winding down on updates. And by that time, we're already going to have the complete version of Stalker that fans have been waiting for." It is really exciting to hear the dev team openly talk about the future and confirm that they're nowhere near done developing Stalker 2. While GSC did mostly complete the Q3 and 4 roadmap of 2025, there's still a few features that they have yet to implement. For example, binoculars. My guess that binoculars will release alongside the Unreal Engine 5.5.4 update. The UE5 update will drastically improve draw distance and optimization, which completely makes sense as to why binoculars have not been added into Stalker 2 yet. With the year nearly over, and both Zakar and Levgin confirming that the engine's upgrade is still in deep development, I would say it's safe to assume that the engine upgrade isn't coming till early or mid 2026. And I'm guessing that the first major DLC might be coming before the engine upgrade, only because they seem a little bit more confident as to when the DLC will drop. But optimization improvements isn't the only thing that the upgrade could bring. It could expand A-Life functionality, add more systems for GSC to develop with, make fewer limitations for future updates, and so much more. Similar games like Gray Zone Warfare and Bodycam recently went through similar upgrades successfully, so this can work. But the future of Stalker 2 absolutely hinges on this milestone, but it's all in the hands of GSC. Another feature that hasn't been completely implemented from the roadmap is the full modding SDK Phase 2 kit. They have been getting features trickled in here and there, but we're still waiting on narrative and quest tools, audio tools, and localization pipeline. Once these features drop, modders will be able to create full storylines, build custom missions, add, remove, and change audio, and optimize their work so much more efficiently. After that happens, the Stalker 2 modding scene is going to explode in popularity. Now let's grab our tinfoil hats and get into some speculation, leaks, and data mining people have gathered about the 2-story DLC expansions. And remember, none of this information is actually confirmed by GSC. Both will have significantly large expansions of Stalker 2's map. And there are 5 bordered off areas that we can actually see that border between the new DLC areas and the map that we already have access to. One of these areas actually includes the Jupiter plant from Call of Pripyat, which people have already used mods to look around this area. But there will be 3 new sections of the map that are going to act as the main areas of the DLC expansions. First is Lemansk, that is located on the west side of the map. Second, Cold Island, located to the east. And then third, the Sand Plateau, located north of Pripyat. One of the DLCs is rumored to be called Mystery of Lemansk. This story is said to take place around a new mutant embryo that Duty and Freedom are fighting by any means necessary to obtain it. And you will have the option to either join Duty or Freedom, or even try to stay neutral between the two. And along with that, there will be brand new characters in both factions you can meet. Most of the story will probably take place in Lemansk, which is a brand new location, hence the name of the DLC. And some more areas we'll be possibly revisiting are Iron Forest, the CMPP, and Lab 16 and 18. So we may be seeing the Miracle Machine in Stalker 2. And that makes me so damn excited to see what that big ass brain looks like in UE5. It's speculated that there will be a few new mutants added to the DLC as well, which the more mutants in lore, the better. If that's true, GSC, please keep it up. The other DLC is rumored to be called Cold Island. Not much is known about the plot, but there will be a new snow biome and some leaks point to the game receiving a hypothermia mechanic, which could be very interesting. This DLC could also bring new mutants as well, along with new and returning characters. Now there is only 2 DLCs planned, but at one point there was a third, and that makes sense because of the third location above Pripyat. Some people are speculating that this DLC and Mysteries of Lumansk got fused together, which might mean that the Mystery of Lumansk DLC might have 2 major areas attached to it, or the Sand Plateau area got scrapped completely. Only time will tell. Also, I wanted to point out another leak that was data mined by somebody and shared by Stalker News on X. After 1.7 was launched with Master Difficulty, there are now files in the game that point towards modular difficulty, letting stalkers choose exactly how they want to experience the zone. There will be 5 different sections to tweak, and it's not clear exactly what some of these mean. The first section is the zone's economy, where you can adjust the loot pool, the economy, trading prices, and repair prices. The second category being mutants, where it looks like you can adjust the amount of mutants spawned and the difficulty of mutants. The third category being human NPCs, where it looks like we can adjust the difficulty of stalkers. First difficulty being rookies, second seasoned, third veterans, and fourth masters. The fourth difficulty section being the zone itself, seemingly having 4 different difficulties to change the amount of anomalies and possibly the amount of damage dealt to Skiff. Those options being peaceful place, standard hazard, high hazard, and deadly grounds. And the last section for modular difficulty is if you want to take on expedition mode. As for when we might see or hear about this new DLC content, a lot of people are speculating we might hear something at the Game Awards, or at least by the end of the year. Let me know what you think in the comments, or if you'd like to add anything that maybe I missed, or if you want to just discuss how excited you are for Stalker 2 in 2026. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe for more Stalker content. Also, join the Discord links below. We talk about pretty much anything Stalker or video game related, and I'll see you in the next one. Good hunting, Stalkers.